Hey, Bobby, Brosnan, Meadow.
Hello.
Hey, long time no see.
Yeah, been a crazy summer. How you doing? Or McKay?
Níix nashwa.
Hey.
Táaminwa wɨsíix aycɨnx inmi aycáwaspa, šalawɨnx. I'm always just sitting around in my chair and what do you call it? I guess if you šalawit pamas one. Lazy boy. Hey, Gene.
Mishnamwa.
Níix nashwa.
Ni.
I've been drinking this pure leaf tea lately. Pretty good stuff. God, this thing. When I get mine, I didn't even think about trying to get a new lamp. Oh well, you guys can see me all right, huh? Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, Fred. Mishnamwa.
Čáwš ŵayx.
Mish, good. Ínaš this.
Cassette, kasawi sanam. Watímnaš inúna ayík ku tašímka. Háwtmi Wálapa. Níix tašímka ku mutat ayíkma. Háwtmi Wálapa inúna. Seen 4 elk, 1 cow, and 3 calves in the creek.
In McKay Creek, right?
Yeah, Háwtmi Wálapa. Mm-hmm. So, Brosnan, Bobby, so are you guys still picking huckleberries, or what's going on? Are you guys able to be in the mountains, or?
Hey, we went and camped for a week and picked huckleberries just 8 miles from our house. Is good huckleberry picking, but they're pretty much done there now. The last couple of days it was starting to get more slim pickings, and then the yellow jackets and the hornets were going and taking bites out of all the berries. So a lot of the ones left were shriveled up with a bite out of each one. So
yeah, there's like little bites out of all the huckleberries. It was weird.
And I think with Umatilla being closed and all of Washington being closed, is like our spots are usually just people from around Cove, but there was a lot of people up there. So I think some spots are getting a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I hear there's a lot of there's the prices of berries, $70 to $80 a gallon.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So imagine if a person was going to go pick that, they'd be putting that much in gas one way.
Yeah.
Or round trip. So I guess you figure that you could either do it that way but with one gallon of gas to go one way, you still probably end up getting at least 2 to 3 gallons.
Yeah.
But I know we used to go pick for, just to pick so my grandmother could can them. And I never did ever see her dry them. I just knew that she canned them. And I actually got a jar that I was going to strain some berries and then put them in the pancake mix.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll just wait till she gets here and then I'll suggest that she can make some. Either that or I'll make them for us. Yeah. So are you guys ready for your namings? Oh, go ahead.
Have you heard of people smoking huckleberries?
Yeah. Actually, I think Kristen and a group we were on a group from the Temuslik, and we went up there to Surprise Lakes area and we camped up there. Roberta Williams, Tina, Montoya, Willie Saigo. Seemed like they wanted to try that process, and I think Thomas might have been there too, Morning Owl. But it seemed like they had attempted to do that to Paʻilamx šána winu, omish Paʻilamx šána winu. They were smoking them. Yeah. So there was up there at Surprise Lakes. I'm not sure how good those pictures are, but there was pictures of some of the women up there actually doing that. How they had it set up where it had the berries all spread out on either like on mats or reeds or something where they were doing that. Yeah. And a lot of that was prior to them knowing how to can. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's all I've ever known. Like I said, I never seen my grandmother do that, but she canned, and I know her method of canning. She had to really, they had to really watch. She had to have her daughter help her, and then same time, we would all be there to help her. And it wasn't on oven stove. It was on a wood stove outside. Yeah, so they'd regulate their stove with the firewood, and that's how they would. Yeah. In a day like this, all 100 heck, and they're out there with a wood stove fire canning. Yeah, really hot. Mm-hmm. Just seeing who else is all with us today. I'm not sure how about next week will be. We're going to be in training Monday through Wednesday, and then we'll find out our schedules for the school year. But hopefully we'll stay with be able to keep the community class going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited to get back into it now.
Yeah. And so Meadow's gonna be going back to school.
Yeah.
Where is she going to go to school?
Cove.
Oh.
We've been homeschooling her. This is her first year that she's gonna go to the school. So, but we were gonna talk to the school about taking her out so that she could do the language program here on Zoom. But they also, isn't there a class on Friday that's gonna happen? Like Friday evening?
I think Thomas Morning Owl, is he gonna have some?
So Damien's is the one that's on Friday, and
Oh,
we've
Damien.
had it a couple times now. I think he's going to continue it through the school year.
Okay, because she doesn't go to school on Fridays. So either we'll pull her out of school and then she'll come here and do the Zoom and then go back to school, or she'll do it Friday. But our plans are to get back into it regularly. We've just been super busy with the naming, but we want to keep going.
So did your is it Sass your mom?
Sass is my aunt. My
Oh,
mom's
your aunt.
Leela. Spencer is my
Okay.
mom, and then Sass is my auntie.
So she's looking for names.
Yeah, she has a small list of names, family names, and then she has a few names that she wants you to see and help her bring it together a little bit more. So I gave her your email and your phone number to text.
Okay.
I just sent that to her.
Bobby, I was going to ask you, are you comfortable with that name that we had felt that I'd sent to you?
Yeah, it feels good. I was walking around introducing myself to the trees and stuff with that name.
Hugging the trees.
Welcome is Táaminwa.
That'd be weird if a tree hugged you back, huh?
No, yeah, I feel good about it. That's how I
Ticham
was feeling.
Ilusla.
Teach up
Ticham.
Kiluthla.
Yeah, Ticham Ilusla.
Kiluthla. Hey.
Yeah, Ticham Ilusla. Yeah. So I like I said, I just text Thomas about it and just got see what his thought was on it, and then when he gave me the translation of that Earth Watcher, and I thought that was nice because I know that you guys are always, watching the land, how the land is, then that just expresses your connection, to the land. Yeah. But yeah, I know that many times when we speak about Wanitched names, Ticham, Wanitched, Amish, Anatun Iwa Wanichi, Alktun Tichampa, Anatun Iwa Wanichi, things that are named. Jonathan, you could go ahead and bring up the board, and we'll jot some of this down. Anatun Iwa Wanichi, Tichampa. Things that are named, upon the land. You need to be jetting out here pretty. Huh? Going to the open house.
Yeah.
It's only 11:14.
Yeah.
And many times, like I'll listen to Armand. His Indian name is Tautash, and it took time to get acquainted with his Indian name, Tautash. So I acknowledge him that way, Tautash. And so sometimes the way he'll orate is that, now that the land will know who you are now. The animals will know who you are now. The birds, everything will know who you are now. They won't know you by your Shapo name no more. They'll just know you by, whatever name that you're going to be known as. And I think he's probably the only one maybe that talks that way. And then one other elder has spoken on Indian names. And the Kunamwata Shapashukwani. anakunamwata shapashukwani ikwan haulak ti champa. So you will be known in the spirit land. You know, the ones over there will know who you are, you know, because of your name. So I think that's why many times songs, you know, like our Washit songs are sung for that acknowledgement, you know, that Chalcook na auna awa chachlapsha waptaikashki, you know, like today we're going to open up with a song, and many times with those that with those songs that open up supposedly to them that they're listening in or watching, and then that's how sometimes we understand that that's how those that we have that communication and contact spiritually, you know, with our loved ones, that anamoni wata namishkwi, that when it becomes our day, anakupa pashukochta anashinawa, they will know, you know, who we are.
Mish Teltalix Pashukwata Ana
Shinawa,
Shin.
anashinawa. Yeah. When it is our day, and then they will know who we are. Winichtki, with our name. You know, one of the things that um, you know, other tribes, I don't know how they do it when they get their Indian names, but you know, we've gotten names, and some of our own people over here, because of our people, you know, having other tribal affiliations. So sometimes they'll, you know, like one young man, he took the name of his father's side, and I think his father's side was from the Lakota or Dakota. And so he learned how the name was from that side, his father's side. And so we went ahead and, you know, gave him that name. And so when I seen him I don't know how long ago it was, and I can't remember, and I was the one that spoke for him. And then when it was come time for his name, I asked him, says, "Hey, what is your Indian name?" And he forgot. So he said, "Man," I said, "that's bad because I forgot my own Indian name." And I says, "Yeah, you better find out what your Indian name is from whoever, you know, your family." He goes, "Well, you were the one that named me." He goes, "Well, I don't have it wrote down or anything." And but you know, like I said, you know, that even people themselves forget their own names, or they don't acknowledge it. And I have a nephew. I guess he was named when he was a young boy, and he'd already had an old family name that his grandmother had given him. And then yet in later years, his older uncle had taken that same name, and he didn't know that his uncle had taken that name, the same name that he had. But that name, Shiki Chai, white badger, apparently was officially, you know, to my own nephew. So whenever I see him, I could have seen him the other night, I think, but it was funny what I'd heard about him. It goes, yeah, he's my neighbor. Oh, I thought he was staying out there at McKay Creek. No, he's my neighbor down here. He found a girlfriend, and I think he's going to move with her to Tri-Cities. And so again, if there's any more comments or questions on Indian names or any other things that you want to ask me, I'll go ahead and put it out there and leave it open again. So again, I'll introduce my. Oh, go ahead, Jonathan.
I just have one question. Washnashwa Nachshashapnit. Dunna Awancha, don't forget your Indian name.
Chawnam Alakta. Imin Wanicht. Yeah, don't forget your Indian name.
Sweet.
Or another way to say it would be Chawnam Laktanam. Chawnam Laktanam. Shinam Wanisha. Tanantimki. Don't forget what your Indian name is. It's like saying you're not to forget what your Indian name is. Hey, Annie Mishnamwa.
Nishnashwa.
Mishnamisha Chikuk.
Kut shash.
Oh, Kut Pamapanam what?
BMCC kut pama.
Oh, Čáwš Ashikosha Anashiman Pa Iti Tamasha and the Kupawata Iti Tamasla. Don't know if anybody is registering for the class yet, or how do we find out if there's how many we have registered? Because people are letting me know that they see it. I'm not sure if there's anything about any registration.
Yeah, currently there are 6 registered for the class.
And need 10, right?
To be an official class. If there's less, then it could get canceled.
Okay, how many, when does it start?
September 20, well, fall term starts the 22nd, and then your first class would be the next day, the 23rd.
Put that in my calendar, make sure I don't forget. September 23rd?
Sorry.
And Annie, it's available both as an in-person and a hybrid class, right? Does it matter? Can the 10 just be from across the 2?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah. So community ed counts, elective credit, and on campus and Zoom.
Do you know if you have to pay all those fees if you're just online? Like there's a bunch of fees. They kind of add up.
That would be for elective credit or college credit. But if you're wanting to sign up as community ed, then
Yeah.
it's like $142.
So I don't have to pay those. I have to just call and figure out how to do that, huh?
Yeah, and you can email me and I can help you through that.
Okay. Oh, that would be great. That'd be great. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, good, we got another student. Come in,
Is,
thank you.
is this class separate to register than Wednesday, Friday? Or is it just register one all week?
Alan, I think
Tuesdays
you
and Thursdays. Alan, can you chat what you're asking? Maybe you can chat what you're asking.
Yeah, sure. It's
And
just also just a detail about the registration, but we can talk about it later too. So no worries. Thank you.
Hey, Commish. Joette, is it Red Star? Mish Pamwa?
Yeah, let's do it.
How are you guys? Mish Pamwa?
Pretty good.
How's everything this way?
Pretty good. Leslie's not in today. I think Julie's in a meeting. It's just me and Gina.
Okay. Yeah, I always think that I always need to get a reason to go up there, and I couldn't go up there for Omek Stampede or anything, but just to go up there to Nispilum and visit the guys' language program, spend a day there. I don't know if there's anybody actually up there that speaks Ichishkeen, any of the dialects of Palouse or Shwanwapam, or any of the languages, if there's anybody that still speaks our language up there. Do you know? Do you guys know?
Gosh. Not that I know of right now. Yeah, I wouldn't know. Not up here.
Yeah, I wish I'd have known things years ago, because like I was saying, my grandmother and my aunt got word there was somebody that they knew passed away up there, and it was before there was a longhouse. There was a house that I think served as a longhouse, and we went there for a service for an elder woman, and there was a lot of people from Yakima there, even from Warm Springs. And it was a wash it service, and that had to have been in the 70s, like 70, 76, 77, something like that. And I didn't pay attention to, even though I was around, speakers, I didn't really pay attention to, like who was, if that was an active language there. This wasn't involved in the language. Ayayash. I was still being a dummy. Yeah, I was still being a dummy.
I know that Joe Red Thunder and their family spoke Ichishkeen. Like Soy Red Thunder and them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was part of their family, maybe. I don't know.
Commish. Yeah.
Fred,
Mish.
I'm still a dummy.
Oh, ʷayx ayayash, or ʷayx ayayash. I was still ignorant, in other words. Yeah.
you ever think for this class to have, Zoom also with maybe some of the other language Ishishkin classes, like to just have conversation, like there's the what's it called, the eagle's nest, the over in White Swan, and perhaps the Wanapum group, anything like that.
Ciao. Skush Čáwš Kwimancha Shinna Namisinwitki. Shisim inmi ayat ko ʷayx kakinas and namana sinwicha itches keen sim. So there's nobody that I really am able to talk to in the language except maybe my wife and Thomas and again namachi us two and the kuna shiapotum with kushki and the kush we're always switching back and forth to English and it's just keen and the ku now white swanpa kotiko mus kike it anai how many weeks ago nishwachakna niku nishwachakna Jerry Manaynikin and the kupinsim and the ku pinchi him also and the ku and a tun awiwa and the kushwaanstash if he has anything to say and the kupin sinwicha shapatimtkisim because sometimes he'll just say things in English to get his point across, and that's just how it is. And the only way that I seem to kind of hear conversational English, conversational Indian, is gosh, it's kind of a rare moment these days. And a shinna Ínaš Kwimatstachna, whoever I could visit with. Kotiko Nisku Lula Sluit Lani Slam Niku Chnachas Diwachan Nikudish Sinwiawa Shana Itcheskin Ki Namisinutki. I was talking to him in our language. Oku Chamuni Kwima Shana Namisinutki. He wasn't talking back with me in the language. Nishashap Nishana says Mishat Mashaku Nikud Mishchawi Pusha Nish Tukik Dachna and the Tuni Wa and Dash, and it kind of made me feel kind of awkward because it made me wonder if I wouldn't be able to get what he was saying. And most all of our language Nishashikwasha, to be able to understand.
Yeah.
Today I am able to understand. Years ago, I mean, it took a lot of listening and inmi ayatmi mimi. My mother-in-law, my wife's mother, years ago in the Kupuni Sinwia, Wati and she talked in front of a bunch of people, and we were sitting there listening to her. And the Kui Iwan Tlauk she told everybody, Aush Ashapnita, Fred. She didn't know my Indian name. She goes, now I'm going to ask Fred and pun Tumashukaich and Tunashnawa. So she put me on the spot. Now I'm going to have Fred interpret what I said. Geez, I had to just rethink everything she said. and I stumbled through what she said. And also our elder, Tecumseh, Virginia, did that. She offered a real beautiful invocation prayer at Oregon University in Eugene for the powwow. It was beautiful. It was, her words were just touching and just like almost made me bawl on the spot. It was just touching her words, and just, it's like you could just tell her words went straight to heaven, because of her, I don't know, like, her wisdom and her, just the beauty of it. And it was like, like she just like touched, you could just tell her that she was, in contact, so to speak. And then turned around and have me interpret, because, oh my God, like I had to really, really dig within my own, I guess, soul, so to speak, to try to say her words, what she said, kind of try to be exacting as I was able to say it. How they were, how they spoke. And Mimi, a long time ago, Chna and the Ku Kakinishmi na Itlas, Thomas's mother, Nakui Wachitmashwi Kla, General Counsel Mipa. She was the General Counsel interpreter. And Nakui Nawacha Naku ʷayx Pinapu Sinwit Awacha Nakush Tamashwi Kaitash and the Shiman Poa Sinwit Sama. She had to try to translate up to 4 different dialects: Umatilla, Palouse, Nez and Walla Walla, to the elders of the day, when they had general counsel, when they really had to speak Indian and explain what was from English to Indian. So it was a challenge. So I don't know who all the speakers are. Lonnie Slam, Gary Meninick, Lorena So Happy, Davis Washings, my elder Steve So Happy here, Thomas, myself, Mildred. Trying to think who the ones that I'm acquainted with. The Washings, he's another Washings. Tony Washings, he's very fluent. And when I see Tony, I'll try to talk to him in the language, just to say a few words, and then he'll just say a few words, and then again, and the kuna Chtaiman nachtaimacha sinwit. Now we aycáwaspa nachtaimancha sinwit. We'll switch back over to Shepatimt. That's how we are today. Nachtaimancha sinwit. We trade off, we trade off to go back to English. Nachtaimacha sinwit. Yeah, nachtaimacha. Chtaimat is to trade, and I guess that would be the word when we switch our language back, back to to English. Akukuma and the kupocha sinu sama ʷayx peanut sinuit pashikwan khana tanan maman tun tanan timkisim sinuit akushpo chamimi. That's how the older ones were. They were able to switch switch languages, from Nez to whatever other language that they have. I'm just trying to think, but that's the word that comes to me is taima, is to like when you trade, but same time when we ŵayx, like when you cross over or cross back or cross over and back with languages. Like wtmi, that's how they were. Paiot, very, very, very kind of like almost difficult, but it was easy for them to understand one another. So what is this that you were talking about, though? What is that that you were stating
Well,
about?
I know there's there's language study groups in some of these places, even though it's not necessarily perhaps the level of fluency that you're talking about with those specific people. But even I remember some years back, there was under Tecumseh, and there was, student Gregory Sutterlicht. I know he I haven't been in touch with him for some years, but I know he is doing some probably gatherings, and I know that there is also there's a program in Wanapum that, but I don't know how much of an opportunity that they have the same way we have to simply talk. But I wonder if I wonder if ever, there's guests could be negotiated, something like that for your class, to just be able to help share a little bit with some of those people more in my generation who don't have the, as much fluency.
Ako mun inmi ayat na patwaiwin na minitpa. Whenever my wife and I, when we have our own little Sunday service here at our house, I munna sinwicha nami sinwitki. That's when we talk, that's when we talk in the language. I munna sinwicha nami sinwitki. Our yashat ki sim. Our yashat ki sim. Yeah, it's all one word. Our yashat ki sim. Our yashat ki sim. So that word there is only in prayer, only in prayer. And it's that time that when we do talk that we both know we don't need to translate, or we don't need to translate or interpret when it's something that's a personal petition. When we know that when we're talking to our Creator, that it's just that belief that He understands what we're saying. What we're saying when we open our hearts to Him that way. And that's and we never record those kind of moments. We just never feel to ever record those kind of moments, and because sometimes we're praying about families or what have you, because it seems like there's always somebody that's in need of to be held up, with our thoughts and our prayers and our songs. And na kushwa ni kumunna awachakal un khatash na mitamna. Then that's just how it is when we open our hearts. I'm hoping, that we can all eventually get there. Is and ko chawtash na sinwit da shapatimtki and ko kumunna na wat anin pa shiman mia na mitanan mam and ko tisim na mi sinwit ki na sinwit da and a kushki and a tiat kis mishdun. When we're close together or visiting, whatever, that we could, just talk in the language and laugh around or whatever. Chanaman chisim katnam pa kwal knit pasim and the mun na we chak ikun kna the kush klewit kisim, not just for funerals. And it could not me tanan maman and I could pasinwi khana kush Táaminwa mais and the Čáwš shukun khana shapatimtna. They didn't, our people, our elders, that's all they taught because it was just the only language they knew. And it could shapatimti wachatun. The English was different. Cháwj wacha nami sinwit, it wasn't our language. So nami sinwit ki pasinwi khana. Nakush nashak in on khana nami and chinchimam and nakush and the manacha in mikatla uyan in khana koimata shiman naimu mishin nikot au shiman poacha sinwitlamasim. That was something. How wherever we went, when my grandmother would need to go see somebody that that was all they spoke was Indian. But it was funny because my uncle, only time that I ever really heard him talk in the language was with his mother, our grandmother, and he'd be explaining things to her. But if there was others that would be around us that would maybe speak Indian, then he would. But it was really around her mainly that I heard him, talk, and yet he was real fluent. Kushwacha kuma, kushkuma poacha naku pashukun shapatimtana naku patana naku yocha ich nakush atwanat shapatimtkisim. So I think that once many did learn English, that it almost became an easier way to be able to just communicate. How we, sometimes would hear them, they, talk broken English. And I remember a story about my uncle when he was in the service. He's drill sergeant and called all them Indians together. And he, of course, back then they called him Chief. Yeah, Chief, good to see you, Chief, And boy, he was chiefing them around there. And he's really, I like you Indians. You guys, you really like your Indians. And here he was thinking that they all spoke the same language because of the code talkers, that he thought that they'd be able to, he'd be able to, promote them to be, code talkers or whatever. And all them Indian men's in their, platoon or whatever that they were in, they looked at each other and, they had to explain to the drill sergeant because, we're not the same kind of Indians. They talk different than us. I don't know what they say. There were about 7 or 8 of them, I guess, and none of them spoke the same language. And my uncle would, the things that he would talk about when he was in the service, most times he would talk about it when he'd be under the influence then he'd bring some things out, but normally he wouldn't really talk about it. But that was something that he did, say. But again, I'm always referring to my uncle Charlie McKay, and the cool Ishapashikunash Timat Sinuitna Shapatimki Timat Ki. He's the one that influenced me to write the language and to understand English, to be able to write it, and encouraged me to read. So Kushtuainis Níix Nashwa Iti Tamasla Shapatimki. So that's why sometimes I pride myself in knowing English too good. Miss Paniwa, Chawit Iwa, put them to Chawit Iwiat Sha, put them to Napt. Nashawa Chahopta and a Shin Namat Eksha Ashap Nidancha. Now let's keep it open for if anybody has any. Let's actually let's go back up to the top what we covered here, Jonathan, if we could. See what I rattled about.
So I don't know how far back you want to go. I started taking some notes before we showed the whiteboard. I did actually want to ask you real quick, since we were talking about smoked huckleberries. Paa'ilamx wiunu?
Ilamx or Ilamx. Either way, I think it's not sure. I think it's with an X.
X rather than a K. But it's the same word like for smoked hides. Ínaš.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's with the X, right?
I thought with a K. Let's double check. Yeah, this has it with a K, KI at the end.
Okay, well, let's leave it with the K. With smoke, so it implies with. So the K implies with.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But then I started taking notes while the whiteboard was open about here if we wanted to start with some stuff about naming.
Anatuniwa Wanichi Tichampa, things that are named upon the land. Wanichi, named. Anakunamwata Shapashukwani. Shukwani is an implication of, knowing. Anaku nam wata Shapashukwani. Ikwan haulak Tichampa. So, so that you will be known in the spirit land. So, what kind of sometimes, my brother Lonnie had talked to me one time, and he was mentioning this, just bringing it out, that sometimes some people have ended up with names and they just got called something from a child or whatever. They just got nicknamed. Basically, sometimes they get nicknamed, and here that would stick with them, and kind of like go throughout their whole life nicknamed and not really having a, an official real Indian name. So their nickname would kind of like become their Indian name, and kind of like without ceremony even. And I says, yeah, I think I could probably, I think I might know somebody or two that, can attest to that. Patient Jonathan. There's Jonathan. We didn't know you by Jonathan. We knew you by Jonathan. Yeah. And again, Chana Malakta Imin Wanicht. Don't forget your Indian name. Chanam Laktanam Shinan, put Shinanam Wanisha. Shinanam Wanisha. Chanam Laktanam Shinanam Wanisha Tanantimki. Don't forget what your Indian name is. Chanam Laktanam. Locked is unlocked is when you forget or has that to leave behind, even because sometimes we'll use that reference what we lalakwi the ones that are like left behind, so to speak, but it kind of has that connotation to it. We lalak.
Mish Fred?
We lalakt. We lalak. There's another word that I'm just kind of just muttering here. We lalakt. Iwa we lalakwi. Iwa we lalakwi. Left, he or she is left behind. I'm too quick, shash. Namakeno shat timash and kanum too quick, shash. Looking at the dictionary to make sure I'm talking it straight there, Jonathan.
No, I'm looking at the dictionary to make sure I've got these stresses right. Sounded like Wilalakwi.
Yeah, that's just like yeah, that's Wilalakt, yeah. Chawnam laktanam shinanam wanisha tnantimki. And again, okay, let's go on down, see what else we put down. Mishna Chikuk, Kut, so that asked Annie. Annie answered, Níix nam sinwi. Mishpamwa, how are you guys? All of you, when you ask everybody, you say Mishpamwa. When I made a reference that I was still a dummy, I was ignorant. Ahway is like saying aycáwaspa, wacha. Like ahway is like has that reference of later or still. When you say that wtmi, wacha, ayayash, I was still a dummy or ignorant. Okay. Mish shwa, I'm still that way. Namachi. Nama is us or we. Us or we. Nama. Us too. Namachi. Okay.
And after that, I was just going to say there's a good bit of stuff I need to go back and re-listen.
Okay, Anashin Ínaš. Anashin Ínaš. Akenutachna. Yeah. It kind of has a reference to be able to visit, to see who to visit, so to speak. Yamuni sinwixana tanan timkisim. Na nakusha na. I think that kush nawa chiao kuk, just yeah, kush nawa instead of that na in the front. Kush nawa chiao kuk. Yeah, that's how we are today. Kush nawa chiao kuk. Okay, it's how we are today. Kush nawa chiao kuk. Taima, trade. I used to get the word taima and chtaima mixed up because taima means to sell and then chtaima is to trade. So chtaima, tunam chtaimachta, what are you going to trade? Tunmashwa chtaimatash, what is it that you have to trade? Or tunam taimasha, what are you selling? Okay, so different ways that those words get used. So one is trade, one is to sell.
Did I hear you right before, Fred? We ŵayxed?
Yeah, we ŵayxed. Yeah, ŵayxed is that reference of like crossing over, like if we were to call a bridge, we ŵayxed pama, ŵayxed pama. Yeah. Okay. Anamun na sinwicha nami sinwit ki tau yashat ki sim. Aimun na sinwicha. Aimun na sinwicha nami sinwit ki tau yashat ki sim. Aimun na sinwicha nami sinwit ki tau yashat ki sim. When we speak in our language only in prayer, yeah, tau yashat. And again, I used to, like I said, I didn't know the word for prayer in our language. I used to just say talapushak. Aush nishams talapushak. And I also didn't know the word for thank you, so I would sometimes use nesperson, Umatilla. Aush nishams kaitsayao. Say it that way too. I said, I'm giving you thank you. I'm giving you thank you. So I would say that sometimes. But I learned I was atawiyashata, nitamatash tawiyashatna. I'll give you prayer. And so anyway, again, what is it, Bobby, on the 3rd, September 3rd?
Hey,
Ay muni wata anakupam wunpta wanichna.
Mish Tautalux?
Ay muni wata pamay pawunpta wanichna. Wanichtna. So that will be the day that they will receive their names. So September 3rd. So we'll put in our leave request to be there that day, and then at the same time we'll get in touch with drummers for wash it in the big drum.
Chiquatla.
Eh, so ay what the Níix and Chitskui Imam Yuayao. That'll be a big day for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Koichipa, Maichpa. 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Commission.
We'll have coffee on.
So 2 weeks. Commission. What the commission is alawɨnx na inmi ayca. I think she has to work that day. I don't know if she'll be able to make it, but if she doesn't make it, I'll come over that night before and spend the night.
Shin?
Me?
Who else you talk? Janice?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's been pretty busy with watching her grandkids again. So yeah, so looking forward to that. So just kind of announcing out there that Bobby and his wife and Brosnan will be getting their Indian names, as well as others getting their names. Is there anybody else getting names?
Hey, Brianna, Brosnan's sister, and then Isabel Lacornu, their cousin.
Oh, okay.
And Meadow.
Okay. Right. So are they having somebody speak for them on that, or am I speaking?
No, that's
on them
why
too?
Sass was gonna be trying to get a hold of you about it.
Okay.
And
Well, Thomas will
coordinate.
be there too, so we can probably all speak on your behalf. So it'll be
Awesome.
we always involve each other one way or the other.
Yeah, we've been meaning to give Thomas a call. No, he's been busy doing memorials and funerals.
Yeah. Annie, that will be Cove, Oregon. What is it, about 15 miles east of La Grande?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get off the beaten path. Go through La Grande like you're going to go to Island City, and then instead of going to Wallowa, you see the sign that says Cove and go straight against that big mountain.
Yeah.
Yes, Meadow? Mishmishwa Ashapnit.
Cordage.
Oh.
Is that milkweed? Or what is that?
No, it's the milkweed.
This is milkweed.
Čáwš Ashakoshatun Iwanisha milkweed Santimki.
Let's just call it tuckwis also. There's a different name.
Could be something different. But wow. So that would be like Tamash, or like a rope, I think. Or was, like was is like string or cordage. Was.
Show me how long it is.
What? Just show you how long it is.
Oh wow! So that's all. That's all. Is it twisted or braided?
Twisted.
Oh. Oh, that's neat. It's neat looking stuff.
Oh, we got some Thule cord too here.
I started the Thule cord. He ended it.
Cord made from tuku.
Yeah.
That's how long it is. And it is.
Show and tell.
It's this long.
Oh wow. We'll be looking forward to seeing all you guys' handiwork. Yeah. Okay. pas chia qual uyanin subsequent chia might now subsequent pa. I accidentally exited for a moment there.
Thought something happened to you.
Okay. Thank you all again. And it antemunnash kinutamatas. So we'll see you guys again.
Kwatla.
She kwatla.
Yeah.
Akwai.
Yeah.
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 Yeah.